Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Justin Riley. We've got some great shows for you this week on Talk of the Town. And we're so excited because right now we're joined by our very dear friend, Dr. Marcia Schaefer from Spring Creek Family Chiropractic. Dr. Marcia, welcome back.
Thank you.
Always good to see you. Always good to get some great information from you. So,
Great to be here.
We were talking a little bit before the show started about pelvic balance and how important that is to expectant mothers. Can you tell us a little bit about what pelvic balance is and why that's so important?
Well, the pelvis are your hips, basically
Right.
the same thing. That's vital even in preconception. So my main focus is actually fertility, and we're making sure that all the nerves that go in there and everything is in alignment, and chiropractic care can make sure that that pelvis is in alignment. It's going to be great through pregnancy. It's going to be great even before to conceive, to make sure that you've got the best opportunity to actually become a parent.
Yes, and it sounds like it's kind of like a good foundation. You're kind of starting from the inside out in terms of wellness and health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. And then we were also talking a little bit about the Webster technique. And I'm not familiar with the Webster technique, and there might be some viewers out there who aren't familiar with it either. But can you tell us a little bit about the Webster technique, and then how expectant mothers should utilize that technique when they're expecting their first or second or third child?
Well, I utilize Webster technique on all of my moms from, again, before they're even pregnant. The Webster technique was created by a chiropractor, and he actually found that when the pelvis was in proper alignment, baby would be in normal position, which breech is a variation of normal, but head down is the normal position people want their baby to be in birth. So the Webster technique is coined as the flipping breech babies, but that's absolutely not what it actually is. It's making sure that the biomechanics of the pelvis are working properly to have optimal positioning for baby.
Right. So there are some people who might assume that Webster technique is working with the child in the womb.
Right.
But it's actually working with the mother and
Correct.
not the child. Okay.
Right.
Very cool. How does chiropractic help expectant mothers with their ever-changing body during pregnancy?
Well, obviously, as the belly is growing, the ligaments are getting more lax, and there's a lot of change that's going on in mom. Regular chiropractic care can allow the body to adapt to those changes. So a lot of our moms, it's really unique that I get to watch moms before they get pregnant go through their pregnancy. And my moms, they just do better in pregnancy. And I think that is a lot because their spine and their nervous system are functioning properly. There's a website, the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association, or ICPA for the number 4, kids.com, has fantastic information both on Webster technique, benefits of pregnancy or chiropractic care during pregnancy, and beyond. So it's a fantastic website for parents to check out.
Excellent. ICPA4kids.com
Right.
with the number 4.
Yep.
Okay, we'll have to check that out. That's got some good information. What do you notice? Because oftentimes moms and the dads, I think too, a little bit, are looking. They always kind of have their eye on the delivery, like what's the labor going to be like?
Right.
What's it going to be like when it's actually time for us to go to the hospital or wherever we decide to have the baby? Have you noticed a big difference in the labor and delivery of moms that have been seeing a chiropractor regularly, or have you noticed a difference in that?
Moms under chiropractic care, the births tend to be a little bit shorter. They tend to use fewer interventions. So it's really important to know that it's not a natural position for moms to be on their back during labor. Their sacrum or their tailbone needs to move. So as soon as you block that out, again, you're stopping the pelvis from moving.
Yeah.
So they need to be up, moving around. And a lot of times under chiropractic care, the moms feel better. They've got more energy going into the birth, and I can't say easy because birth is not an easy process, but it's an easier process.
Sure. It alleviates some of that difficulty.
Right.
That's great, and it probably adds an element of relaxation to them as well, which always helps. So, does recovery time? What about recovery time? Is that affected under moms who have regularly seen chiropractic care?
Well, it's really important that 4th trimester, the trimester that you're recovering from everything, your ligaments are changing again. Your volumes of liquid and fluid in your body are changing. So there's a lot of things going on. So things like postpartum depression and a lot of that can be happening more often. Moms under chiropractic care are getting checked. They're making sure everything is going back to how it should.
Right.
But it also helps mom because when mom is feeling better, all of a sudden you're holding this baby. You've got this constant in front of you force.
Yes.
It does affect how mom can carry baby.
Absolutely. And we'll just have a couple seconds left, but after if mom has been regularly adjusted all during her pregnancy, does baby need to get adjusted afterwards, after he or she is born?
Right, to make sure latch is good and a lot of those things vital that baby, if you the head tilt and the different things with baby, it's very important.
All important things.
Yes.
Well, Dr. Marcia Schaefer, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to I always learn something new every time we have a talk. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. It is always good to interview different types of guests on this show, and today is certainly no exception. We've got Adam Williams and Sarah Whalen, who are cast members with the Kathie Rasmussen Women's Theater, and they're going to be talking about the play that they'll be doing called The House of Yes by Wendy McLeod. Adam and Sarah, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so good to have you here. So why don't you show us the visual that you have there? That's kind of the poster, or the mini version of the poster for House of Yes. This play takes place in 1983, which is 20 years after the assassination of JFK. Why is that significant?
Well, the major character, Jackie O, she calls herself, is fixated on the assassination of Jack Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy's involvement in that. And she has renamed herself Jackie O.
Okay. And what does House of Yes mean?
Well, what we have come to think of the House of Yes, meaning that nobody has ever been told no in this house.
Okay, all right.
It's a very permissive household.
I love how you're giving these really vague answers. So it really makes me want to go and see the play now. So good. No spoilers here, folks.
No,
so that's
I'm
great.
not going to do a spoiler.
That's great. So the cast includes Adam Williams, Sarah Whalen, also Danielle Borman Davidson, Tim Lam, and Jenny Maz. How did they get cast?
Well, we actually were precast. We did a screening of the play last year, and we sort of like tested it for an audience to see how it went over, and they seemed to enjoy it, and they enjoyed the cast that was assembled for the reading of it, and so the director decided to stick with the same cast.
Wow. So did you have to do the whole play memorized before you were even cast in it then?
No, when we did the reading, we had the scripts like right in front of us.
Oh, okay. So you were able to hold the script.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Adam, I want to ask you a question. Your character, you play Anthony, and Anthony describes himself as majorly left out. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that means and why he describes himself that way?
Sure. So my older brother and sister are twins. So naturally, him being younger and on top of it, not having that twin connection, he feels left out of their connection. And I could relate as a character because I had two older sisters in real life. And I felt majorly left out too. So.
Poor Adam. So sorry.
It's okay.
I can't relate. I was the older sibling, and so my younger brother probably feels left out all the time. So.
Yeah.
Sarah, a question for you, Mrs. Pascal. Mrs. Pascal says, "You don't raise children like cattle; they just happen." What does she mean by that?
She's rather uninvolved with her children, I think.
It sounds like it from that quote.
And what her actual line is, people raise cattle, children just happen. And it's just that is exactly what happens to her. They just happen.
Yeah.
And maybe if you look historically back to the time, there was not too many ways to prevent children from happening.
Sure.
So it could be a deeper meaning, but basically it's just that, well, they just arrived.
Yeah.
Out of the Ethernet or whatever.
Right. So I'm curious, this play is only 75 minutes, and you're following it up with some talkbacks, which is, I assume, where you, as a cast, interact with the audience a little bit, out of character, I'm guessing.
Right.
Yeah. What is the reason for the talkbacks? Is it very intense? Are there some material in there that might be hard to digest? Tell us a little bit about the talkbacks and the rationale there.
It was important for us as a cast because it's a way to get feedback from the show and dive in a little deeper. And I think the show allows for that time because it is a shorter play, and also it's a thought-provoking play, you know. And so there's a lot of unanswered questions, you know, between characters and their relationships, and so when we sit down for these talkbacks, it just makes us think more as a cast, and I think it was a really good choice. Our director Jan decided to have these talkbacks every night, and it makes the show complete, you know.
And it kind of helps you mature as a cast as well, getting that feedback from the audience. I would
For
imagine,
sure, yeah,
as well,
definitely.
As well. Well, we are out of time. Adam and Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great information, and we look forward to seeing that play.
Thank you so much.
Don't go away. There's more Talk of the Town coming up right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. If you're having a hard time keeping those New Year's resolutions, then we have the person for you that's going to tell you a little bit about how to keep those New Year's resolutions and how to refresh them a little bit. We have Lauren Burkle from Orange Shoe Personal Fitness, and she's going to be talking about making fitness personal. Lauren, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So good to have you here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what services does Orange Shoe Personal Fitness offer?
Orange Shoe is, we focus on individuals and small groups. So we work with one-on-one personal training, either 30 or 60-minute sessions, and we also have small group training, along with some specialty services, like groups specifically for prenatal fitness or running programs, really trying to cater to individuals.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And you know, somebody who thinks about when they hear the phrase personal trainer, they think, why do I need that?
Sure.
So why is it beneficial to go see a personal trainer versus just going for a run or going to the gym or something like that?
Absolutely. There's tons of things out there that someone could do rather than working with a personal trainer. I think one of the biggest benefits of working with someone is that you're getting the expertise to make sure that what you're doing is going to be the best for your goals and be as efficient as possible, because we're all short on time these days. So let's make it as efficient as possible. Then the other thing is accountability. So if you say, I'll go home from work and I'll put in the DVD and I'll do this, how many other things come up when you get home from work, right? But if you have an appointment with a trainer, there's that accountability, and you're going to be taking care of yourself and feeling better in the long run.
Right. Especially if you're paying that trainer, you
Right.
think to yourself, well, I might as well get my money's worth.
Yeah,
you know? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Accountability is very important. Can you talk to us a little bit more, because you have some small group training. Can you talk to us a little bit more about small group training?
Yep. So small group training, we at Orange Shoe, we define that as a group of about 6 people or fewer, so that you're still getting that dynamic of a group and the camaraderie and the social support of that group, but it's small enough that you get the individualized and personalized attention of a trainer working directly with you. Obviously, another benefit then is that you can share in the cost of that session with the others in the group. So you get that personal training feel, but at a lower price point. So our groups can be anything from strength focused to more cardio to some of the specialty options. So
Excellent.
really good option. If personal training one-on-one isn't for you, thinking about small groups is really the way to go.
Absolutely. And what I really like about this is that you still get that everybody's different, everybody's built differently,
Yeah.
everybody has different needs in terms of their health and fitness.
Yeah.
So you still kind of get that even though you're working with a group of people.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it's very cool.
No cookie cutter
Right.
workouts.
Exactly. It's very much catered to your
Yes.
needs.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. So besides everything that you've talked about, what sets Orange Shoe apart from other fitness options?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, like I said before, really catering to that individual and getting to know that person. and understanding what their specific goals, that's really important. And then also just the community that we create in our studios, really finding ways for our clients to connect, our team members to connect, make sure that there's that great support behind what we have going on. And then we also have extremely professional, well-educated personal trainers. So everyone's degreed and certified. You're getting some of the best care, the best expertise that you could here in Madison.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
And of course, we promised our viewers that you were going to talk to a little bit about people who might be struggling with keeping their New Year's resolutions. What kinds of things can you recommend to help people and reach their goals?
Sure. Well, obviously, I would say find a professional, a fitness professional, a personal trainer to work with you and guide you through that process. But part of it's just reaffirming that commitment. And I think one of the biggest things to do is to actually write down the goal and the action steps that you're going to take to get there.
Yes.
And then share it with someone. If it's not a personal trainer, maybe it's a very close friend or a significant other, someone that can really support you through that and hold you accountable. Going back to the accountability that I talked about right at the beginning, it's so important to know that you can't just kind of, well, maybe I'll get to that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
If it's written out, it's kind of more etched in your memory then.
Yeah.
You know it's really there and it's a real thing. So, yes. Lauren Burkle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Orange Shoe Personal Fitness. If you want help with setting your fitness goals, check them out. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll be talking with our very own Ryan Ashiker about big-time basketball and all things sports here on CW57. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and we are joined by our very own Ryan Ashiker, sports correspondent here for CW57. Ryan, welcome to Talk of the Town.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back in our studio. I mean, you're always just kind of hanging around here, so
Yeah.
Figured it wasn't too hard to walk.
It's a
down
nice
here.
place to hang out. There's cameras,
It
bright
is.
lights. I like it.
It is. It is. We should hang out here more often.
It would work.
Have a couple of drinks maybe at some point. Tell us a little bit about your background, because you're new to the CW57 on-air team. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Been doing kind of broadcasting for quite a while. Started when I was 15. Actually, was one of the youngest radio personalities in the country for a time. With that kind of eventually led to me coming over and doing some sports here at the CW. Won a couple of WBA awards for sports play-by-play. Played football for 15 some odd years and have covered a lot of sports in that time on different radio, TV stations and things like that as well.
Sure. And you do some coaching as well, right?
I do. I'm coach with someone that our CW fans might know, Coach Adam Smith. He was my coach with the Madison Mustangs and now the new head football coach at Madison Memorial. I've been coaching there for 5 years in the youth ranks, and I'm going to be moving up with my kids to JV this year. So I've had the same boys since they were in 5th grade. So just
Very cool.
being able to watch them grow, and now a lot of them are bigger than I am. It's kind of
Right. Yeah. Hope you weren't too hard on
Exciting.
them back when they were in 5th grade.
made them run a lot. So I'm waiting to see if that comes back on me.
Right, right. So, we're at the CW here. We're really trying to launch some pretty substantial sports programming.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about why covering high school sports is an important part of what we're doing here at CW.
My vision, and the reason I think it's important is because no one else really covers it. You might see snippets or things like that on other news sources, but as far as really covering games or covering other events in Madison, there's not a whole lot of it. And high school sports are something that brings communities together. Different businesses get really involved, whether it's sponsoring a team or a fundraiser or part of the booster club, things like that. So it's a way for those businesses and parents and student athletes to really kind of get involved and see themselves on TV. I know when I was playing sports when I was a youth, it would have been awesome to see myself on TV
Right.
or even hear myself on the radio, and there wasn't a whole lot of that. And
Right.
surprisingly, Madison hasn't had a lot of it. So that's something that we're going to try to do here at CW and cover a lot of those younger high school athletes, student athletes, and some other sports along the way too.
Yes. And what would you say, what do you see as the overall vision for our sports department here at CW?
Well, right now we're doing kind of the second half of the boys basketball season, so that's been going great, been a lot of fun. Next year, I would hope to do the entire high school football season, maybe the entire basketball season for boys, and maybe mix in some girls games and things like that as well. As well as maybe touching on some of the other sports, because there's so many different sorts of athletics here in the area.
Yeah, there's quite a variety, quite a smorgasbord of
Yeah.
different types of athletics going on here. Tell us a little bit about this new program that we're launching called the Sports News that you're going to be anchoring.
I am.
understand.
I'm very excited. Something I've always wanted to do. One of the big reasons I wanted to kind of come over to CW and find the possibilities with kind of launching this sports network. Going to be a weekly show, air hopefully a couple times over the week, but going to cover a lot of the teams in the Badger and Big 8. Not just football and basketball, but if they have a really good dance team that maybe went to state, or cheerleading, tennis, hockey, whatever the schools kind of want to highlight, or some of their teams that have really excelled over the season, it's going to give those schools and those coaches and players a chance to kind of highlight what they've done their season, what their plans are going forward, whether they're going to be kind of going to college or entering the workforce, or maybe they're just done with sports after high school, but just a way to kind of let us know what some of the athletes in town are doing. And with that, there's also a chance we cover things like Madison Capitals, Madison Mallards, maybe some of the semi-pro football teams in town. There's a lot of local racetracks. So just kind of all the different sort of sports that aren't really covered here in the area. I want to take advantage of that and hopefully show that to our audience.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a lot more in depth than just the typical 10 minutes or 5 minutes sports highlights. I mean, this is going to be pretty. It's 30 minutes long. It's a 30-minute broadcast.
30 minutes long. What the goal is, where we'll have coaches come in, maybe athletic directors, maybe the athletes themselves, and talk about their experience, what sports have done for them, how it's going with the schooling, maybe if they're going to go play in college somewhere, so things like that. So it's not just kind of a highlight clip show, but actually get to know people in the community that are doing, really exciting things.
Getting to know the people who are involved.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Ryan Ashker, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It was good to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to be back.
And that's all for Talk of the Town. We'll see you next time. Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Justin Riley. We've got some great shows for you this week on Talk of the Town. And we're so excited because right now we're joined by our very dear friend, Dr. Marcia Schaefer from Spring Creek Family Chiropractic. Dr. Marcia, welcome back.
Thank you.
Always good to see you. Always good to get some great information from you. So,
Great to be here.
We were talking a little bit before the show started about pelvic balance and how important that is to expectant mothers. Can you tell us a little bit about what pelvic balance is and why that's so important?
Well, the pelvis are your hips, basically
Right.
the same thing. That's vital even in preconception. So my main focus is actually fertility, and we're making sure that all the nerves that go in there and everything is in alignment, and chiropractic care can make sure that that pelvis is in alignment. It's going to be great through pregnancy. It's going to be great even before to conceive, to make sure that you've got the best opportunity to actually become a parent.
Yes, and it sounds like it's kind of like a good foundation. You're kind of starting from the inside out in terms of wellness and
Yeah,
health.
absolutely.
Very cool. And then we were also talking a little bit about the Webster technique. And I'm not familiar with the Webster technique, and there might be some viewers out there who aren't familiar with it either. But can you tell us a little bit about the Webster technique, and then how expectant mothers should utilize that technique when they're expecting their first or second or third child?
Well, I utilize Webster technique on all of my moms from, again, before they're even pregnant. The Webster technique was created by a chiropractor, and he actually found that when the pelvis was in proper alignment, baby would be in normal position, which breech is a variation of normal, but head down is the normal position people want their baby to be in birth. So the Webster technique is coined as the flipping breech babies, but that's absolutely not what it actually is. It's making sure that the biomechanics of the pelvis are working properly to have optimal positioning for baby.
Right. So there are some people who might assume that Webster technique is working with the child in the womb. But
Right.
it's actually working with the mother,
Correct.
not the child. Okay.
Right.
Very cool. How does chiropractic help expectant mothers with their ever-changing body during pregnancy?
Well, obviously, as the belly is growing, the ligaments are getting more lax, and there's a lot of change that's going on in mom. Regular chiropractic care can allow the body to adapt to those changes. So a lot of our moms, it's really unique that I get to watch moms before they get pregnant, go through their pregnancy, And my moms, they just do better in pregnancy. And I think that is a lot because their spine and their nervous system are functioning properly. There's a website, the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association, or ICPA for the number 4, kids.com, has fantastic information both on Webster technique, benefits of pregnancy or chiropractic care during pregnancy, and beyond. So it's a fantastic website for parents to check out.
Excellent. ICPA4kids.com with
Right.
the number 4.
Yep.
Okay, we'll have to check that out. That's got some good information. What do you notice? Because oftentimes moms and the dads, I think too, a little bit, are looking. They always kind of have their eye on the delivery. Like, what's the labor going to be like?
Right.
What's it going to be like when it's actually time for us to go to the hospital or wherever we decide to have the baby? Have you noticed a big difference in the labor and delivery of moms that have been seeing a chiropractor regularly, or have you noticed a difference in that?
Moms under chiropractic care, the births tend to be a little bit shorter. They tend to use fewer interventions. So it's really important to know that it's not a natural position for moms to be on their back during labor. Their sacrum or their tailbone needs to move. So as soon as you block that out, again, you're stopping the pelvis from moving. So they need to be up moving around. And a lot of times under chiropractic care, the moms feel better. They've got more energy going into the birth, and I can't say easy because birth is not an easy process, but it's an easier process.
Sure. It alleviates some of that difficulty. That's great, and it probably adds an element of relaxation to them as well, which always helps. So, does recovery time? What about recovery time? Is that affected under moms who have regularly seen chiropractic care?
Well, it's really important that 4th trimester, the trimester that you're recovering from everything, your ligaments are changing again. Your volumes of liquid and fluid in your body are changing. So there's a lot of things going on. So things like postpartum depression and a lot of that can be happening more often. Moms under chiropractic care are getting checked. They're making sure everything is going back to how it should.
Right.
But it also helps mom because when mom is feeling better, all of a sudden you're holding this baby. You've got this constant in front of you force.
Yes.
It does affect how mom can carry baby.
Absolutely. And we'll just have a couple seconds left, but after if mom has been regularly adjusted all during her pregnancy, does baby need to get adjusted afterwards, after he or she is born?
Right, to make sure latch is good and a lot of those things vital, that baby, if you the head tilt and the different things with baby, it's very important.
All important things.
Yes.
Well, Dr. Marcia Schaefer, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to I always learn something new every time we have a talk. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We are joined now in our studio by Mr. Pepper Stebbins from Next Door Brewing Company. Pepper, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a while since you've been back in our studio. You started out by doing the restaurant show
I
here.
did 2 restaurant shows at the very beginning, like 6 months ago, and then I haven't been back yet. But
yeah, well, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, great.
It's always good to
Thank
see
you.
a familiar face.
yeah, thank you very much.
So you're going to be talking a little bit about your beer and donut event, which is coming up on February 22nd.
Yes.
Can you tell us who all is involved in the event?
Yeah, well, we're doing a beer and donut event on this Sunday, the 22nd of February, from 2 to 5. And $20 gets you 6 donuts, like beignet-sized donuts,
Sure.
and 3 half pints. But if you bring 2 canned goods or 2 dry goods, you get an extra half pint for free, because a portion of the proceeds are going to the Fritz Food Pantry at the Goodman Community Center. And we've got Batch Bakehouse involved, the Weary Traveler, Rosie's Coffee and Bakery. And so all these people are using 3 of our beers, the Iron Brigade Stout, the Rockets Red, or we did a special version of our Sevex, which is typically a strong ale, but we infused it with cocoa nibs and French oak soaked in orange liqueur.
Wow.
So they can use it any way they want, in the dough, in the frosting, or whatever they want. And there's still places available. Just call our restaurant or our brewery, and you don't have to pay till the day of the event. Yeah. So.
Wow, very cool. So I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit more about how they incorporate beer into the donuts. I mean, are they deep fried? Is it a deep fried
Well,
type
there's
of thing?
deep fried, and there's going to be cakes type donuts, but I think most of the places are going to use it in the frosting. So we took this Sevex, this crazy Sevex with the cocoa nibs and the French oak and the orange liqueur, and we made a cherry frosting out of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be great, you know, and it's for a good cause, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So yeah, and how did this whole thing get started? I mean, how many years has this been going on? Is this the first one, or?
This is the first one. We opened in August 2013, and a lot of us are Simpsons fans.
Okay.
And so, as Ben, our general manager, says that, you know, it's in the mind of Homer Simpson that beer and donuts, you know,
Right.
all the time.
Right.
So, so we came up with this, and if you see our poster, which I didn't bring with us, me today, it's got kind of a Simpson-esque thing going on, theme to it. So we just came up with it. We thought it'd be a nice event, you know, for us to have in mid-February.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think maybe your tagline could be something like Homer Simpson, eat your heart out.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, absolutely.
So how did the Goodman Center Food Pantry get involved with
Well,
that?
I've got a connection over there. We did their beer and chocolate pairing last year, and it's to raise money for the Goodman Center.
Sure.
So I got
Okay.
a connection over there, and I emailed her, and I said, hey, do you want to be involved in this? And they said, absolutely, it'd be great. And so hopefully there's going to be a representative there from the Weary Traveler, Batch Bakehouse, Rosie's, and the Goodman Center.
Very cool, very cool. Now, I'm just curious, have you gotten a chance to, have they made any of these donuts with the frosting yet?
yeah,
And have
yeah.
you had a chance to try them?
Oh, yeah. I've tried them all. And
What's
so-
your favorite?
I don't know yet. I mean, there's a chocolate one made with the stout, and there's the one that made with the special 7X, and I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to see till Sunday. I'm going to have to wait till everybody's, you know, squared away on Sunday.
You should have some sort of social media campaign or something that.
Oh yeah,
like,
we're doing that.
Are you doing that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To like maybe people can tweet about like what their favorite donut is or
Sure,
something
absolutely. That's a good idea. So
that
we'll
would be
do
really
that.
cool to do that, and then that way you'd know like kind of what your best sellers are.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, are these donuts or anything going to be available after the Donut and Beer Festival? Or are they
Probably not. I
Okay.
mean, the beer, the beers will be available.
Sure.
We only did 2 half barrels of the special 7X.
Sure.
So it's going to go really quickly. We're
Yeah.
releasing it tonight, actually.
Wow, okay.
And it's going to go probably pretty quickly.
So if you want to get those donuts with the special beer frosting, this is the time to do it. February 22nd is your time. Pepper
Yep.
Stebbins, thank you so much for coming on our show today. It was
Thank
great
you very
talking to
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Don't go away. When we come back, Orange Shoe Personal Fitness will be in our studio. It's Talk of the Town right here on CW 57. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. Well, I am so very impressed because our next guest drove 4 hours to get here from the city of Rhinelander, actually from Butternut, am I right?
Yep.
We have Henry Shinnebeck from the Great Lakes Timber Professionals Association. Henry, so glad you could make it today.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so glad you were able to make the trek all the way down to southern Wisconsin. Henry's going to be talking a little bit about the Wisconsin's forest products industry. And I want to start out by just asking you just a real brief question. What types of products or issues does the Great Lakes Timber Professionals Association work on?
Well, first of all, we're an association that's been around in Wisconsin for about 75 years. It started back in 1940. And right now we've got about 1,000 members. We're a 2-state organization. We represent Michigan and Wisconsin. And a lot of the issues we work on are really our purpose, or our mission, if you will, is to protect a multiple use forest for future generations. As you know, a lot of the folks in our industry, we have a lot of 4th and 5th generation people that are still doing forest management. And those folks, to us, it's really important that we have trees to cut.
Right.
And it's a very important industry to our state.
Yes, absolutely. How important? I mean, how big is the forest industry really here in the state of Wisconsin?
Well, nationally, it's a $200 billion industry that employs over 1 million people. And for the state of Wisconsin, we're the number 1 paper-making state in the nation. And it's almost a $23 billion industry for Wisconsin. and we have 59,000 employees in that business.
Wow. Wow. So it is a
Yeah,
pretty
it's
big business.
And,
for
and
us.
even for this area right here, you know, we kind of think that forestry might be to the north,
Sure.
but really even in Dane County, there's like 1,200, almost 1,300 jobs, forestry-related jobs just in this county alone.
Wow.
And you look at the surrounding areas, so it's really a statewide industry.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people to be aware of that it does, you know, it is a big thing even in southern Wisconsin.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
Yeah. What all does the forestry industry mean to Wisconsin? Like how does it affect economies and you know, products that are, you know, bought and sold and so forth? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, actually, you know, I mean, it has a real impact on rural communities. A lot of our folks live and work in those forested communities, and it's really important because that's a lifestyle that a lot of us like. I mean, I've been in the northern part of the state my whole life, and a lot of our members have been there as well. And so when we talk about forestry, it's not just about forest management, but it's really about maintaining that lifestyle, that rural lifestyle that we've all come to enjoy. And forest management provides a lot of different things. I mean, if I'm sure that a lot of the folks watching this program like to hunt, fish, ski, snowmobile, recreate, and all those things, and that's really some of the things that good forest management provides. You know, we're really we see an unlimited value in a healthy forest. You know, it provides all that social, economic, and ecological benefit that we really all need and depend on.
Yeah, absolutely. Is the Great Lakes Timber Professionals Association engaged in any? Do you guys do any charitable work?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a program where the state's I guess you could call the state's manager for the Children's Miracle Network Log a Load for Kids program. And what that is we have a group up in the northwest part of the state that's been doing a log a load for kids every year for about the last 14 years, and we do have other events that go on in different parts of the state. But this particular group has been doing it for, I think this will be their 14th year. And what we do is we find a piece of timber that needs to be managed, and they purchase the stumpage from whatever it might be a state timber sale or a private timber sale. And the guys bring their equipment and donate their equipment, the use of their equipment, for about a 2-day period. And during that period, we also bring in as many as 1,100 school kids to go through and watch the operation. There's a lot of different stations they'll see. They might see a wildlife station, a plant identification station. They'll see a piece of wood taken that we just harvested and put on a portable sawmill. They may see a horse logger. They may see firefighting crew there, biomass, a lot of different stations they go to and get an education, get a chance to sit on a piece of equipment. And that goes on over a 2-day period, and then the money that's raised from that goes directly to the Children's Miracle Network and it stays in our state. And so we have like 5 different hospitals that work with Children's Miracle Network that we donate that money to.
Absolutely. So the kids not only get an education, but the money goes to a good cause as well.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
it's a
very
blast.
cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
the pictures you get and the comments you get and,
Yeah.
and the conversations you have, I mean, it's really a good time.
Yes. Henry Schinnebeck, thank you so much for making the trek down here with some great information. I appreciate it. We enjoyed talking with you today.
Absolutely, enjoyed being here.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away, because when we come back, we'll be talking fashion with Apricot Lane. It's Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We are joined in our studio by Carol and Ashley Johnson from Apricot Lane over at the West Town Mall. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Girl Talk regulars here on Talk of the Town. So good to have you here.
Good to be here.
I gotta be honest, I'm looking at your spread a little bit here, and I'm kind of starting to sweat a little bit because my wife is gonna see this, and she's gonna kind of be glaring at me for this entire interview, thinking, why haven't you gone to this store yet?
Right,
So,
right.
tell me about some of the items that you carry that are made locally.
Well, we just got in these candles right here, and they are actually made in Wisconsin by people who are developmentally disabled. So it goes to a good cause, and they really smell good. I think we were smelling oatmeal cookie before, and it was
Yeah, and it really does
really
smell.
smells like it.
It really does smell
Yeah.
like oatmeal cookie.
And they're made, they're soy candles, so they burn really nicely.
Yeah, and we have
Very
those
little set.
candles, and then we also have Tammy Spice jewelry as well. And
Spice jewelry.
Yeah, Tammy Spice jewelry. It's made in Oconomowoc, and it's all handmade. So.
Wow.
Yeah, very cool.
Very, very unique array of items here.
Yes.
So you guys go on buying trips every now and then.
We do,
And
yes.
I understand that you just got back from a buying trip. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the items that you're bringing back to Madison now from your
Yeah,
last trip?
definitely. Well, right now we are focusing primarily on spring and summer.
Sure.
And a little bit of fall, but we brought back tons and tons of dresses
Mm-hmm.
like this one. Good dresses to go to weddings
Mm-hmm.
in, and then we also brought back a lot of denim, handbags. So we have a lot of stuff
You have
in our store right now.
Quite a bit of things here.
Yes.
When you're making your buying decisions
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking at what you'd like to carry at Apricot Lane, what inspires you to make the choices that you make?
Well, most of it is based on our customers. We really listen to our customers. Ashley and I are there pretty much every day, so we talk to our customers and get their feedback. And we also have a scout in LA that helps us, with the latest trends that are coming out of LA.
Oh wow!
So,
Wow! So
yeah.
you kind of are up to date on the latest fashion things that are
Right.
happening right from
Absolutely.
the big the fashion metroplexes and
Yes.
so
Right.
forth.
Exactly.
Oh, that's very cool. And bringing that to Madison.
Right,
Yes,
right.
definitely.
Very neat. Tell us a little bit about the colors we'll be seeing this spring.
One of my favorite colors is this handbag right here. It's called Merlot. So this is one of the really big popular colors. We also have the steel gray, tangerine, some of the muted colors, like again that bright, vibrant pink dress, but then again some other muted colors like lavender
Sure.
and just light, pretty,
Pastel.
yeah,
Sure.
pastels.
Pastels.
So,
Sure. Sure
yeah.
thing. Sure thing. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, do you carry denim? And it looks pretty clear to me that the answer is yes. Can you tell
Yes,
us a little
we
bit about
do.
what you brought with us
Yeah,
here
we
today?
brought back from LA. They're seeing a lot of the ripped jeans are still really popular.
Sure.
And then they have a boyfriend fit, which are a little bit looser. They kind of look like you're wearing your boyfriend's jeans. That's what they're doing, but it's a really cute, fun, easy look. We also have Henry and Belle, which are from Chicago.
My
and
favorite.
Yeah, those are her favorite, and they have a high-waisted, so they hold you in. And for the women who don't like jeans, we have these jeggings.
Okay.
So those are comfortable. They kind of feel like leggings, but they look like jeans.
They look like jeans, yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
They do have tummy control.
Sure.
They suck
So
you all
those-
in.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
One thing we didn't mention is we just brought in some event wear. So we have a lot of beautiful gowns for people that are either going to prom or
Okay.
they have special occasions. We have long dresses with a lot of sequins and gems, and then a lot of short ones as well. So
Very
that's
cool.
another new
Very
item
cool.
in our store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was just, as you're talking about the jeans, you're talking about the ripped jean look.
Yes.
I remember that was very popular in the late 80s.
Right.
Is that something that, is that kind of when it started, and has it continued to be popular, or did it kind of die out for a while and now is it a comeback type of thing?
I think it was a comeback when I was in high school,
Okay.
6 years ago, and now, it's still around. So
Sure.
it's nice that you don't have to throw them away and
Yeah.
start fresh. You can wear them still. So.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
even the wide leg pants are coming
flares,
back. The
yeah.
flares.
Yes.
So a lot of those styles that
Keep
you
them in your
know,
closet and they'll come back.
Yeah. Yeah, right on, right on. Provided that your body doesn't change, then I
Right.
guess you can continue to wear them as much as you want to. Well,
Yes.
Carol and Ashley Johnson, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you
This
very
was
much.
this is really great, and I really love the spread of things that you brought and really great information. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And welcome back from your buying trip too.
Thank
you very
you.
much.
Thank you.
So that's all for Talk of the Town. We'll see you next time.